The day the world changed for one quiet family was September 9th, 1996. In a modest neighborhood in Jonggeap, North Jeolla Province, an ordinary afternoon unfolded like countless others before it. A small child was playing near home, and a father was working just across the way, unaware that before the day ended, his life would collapse into a darkness from which he would never fully return. The child was 6 years old. Her name was Sun Eonji. Her father operated a scrap shop near the apartment area where the family lived, doing his best to support his household. The places surrounding them were familiar, ordinary, and seemingly harmless. An apartment playground, a vacant lot, and a shop that smelled of metal, oil, and constant movement. These were spaces that had always been part of her world, places that should have been safe. That afternoon, it was said that Sun Eonji played between the apartment playground and the open ground near her father's business. It was an area she knew well, a path she likely crossed many times. It was close to home, close to her father, close to everything that represented comfort and routine. But somewhere within that short stretch of ground, in a moment, too brief to measure and too silent to be noticed, she vanished. The last remembered description of her was painfully ordinary and heartbreakingly vivid. Long hair, a skirt. A child's face marked by a faint straight scar and a small dark spot near her right elbow. Features that should have helped people recognize her someday. Features that might have become the last tangible proof of her identity, if she had ever been found again. Yet those identifying marks would become only fragments of a record that time could not erase, but also could not advance. The family began searching immediately. Panic consumed every second as fear replaced reason. Soon after, the police joined the search, tracing steps, questioning neighbors, scanning the area that seemed too small for a disappearance and yet vast. When a life had been swallowed by it, confusion began early. Some said she disappeared from the playground. Others claimed she vanished in front of the scrapyard. Those pieces of testimony merged into a narrow corridor of possibility, the stretch between two familiar places where something terrible must have occurred. It was a short distance, but no matter how closely it was examined, no decisive clue surfaced. There were no footprints that could lead anywhere definite, no witness account firm enough to anchor the truth. As the first days passed and the urgency of fresh disappearance faded into the colder structure of a case file, the mystery began to harden into silence. Despite being categorized as one of the long-term, unsolved disappearances in the region, this case somehow never gained the level of national awareness others did. The reasons are tangled and unclear: a lack of early detailed reporting, insufficient public exposure, and the devastating impact of incomplete initial records. In any disappearance, exact time, precise location, and detailed appearance are vital to tracking possible outcomes. But in this case, from the beginning, those elements were blurred. Where exactly she had been remains uncertain. Who had seen her last remains fragmented into inconsistent stories. Which direction she could have gone was never firmly documented. Media attention flickered sporadically, appearing occasionally in newspapers, then fading again. As the years moved forward, the case slowly slipped toward the shadows of forgotten tragedies, even while the family was never able to leave it behind. Some clues survived in memory and assumption. It is believed that she and her family lived, or at least spent much time near a certain apartment complex, one that had a small playground and open land opposite its entrance. Spaces that children naturally gravitate toward, spaces that hold laughter, running footsteps, and traces of simple joy. That setting now stands in stark contrast to what it became after that day. Not a place of play, but the last known world of a missing child, a location forever associated with loss. Years went by, but the family did not stop hoping. A father continued to live with the unbearable weight of unanswered questions. Every photograph, every remembrance, every fleeting chance of recognition carried equal measures of hope and agony. Could she still be alive? Did someone take her? Could she have been saved if only someone had realized sooner? Such thoughts haunted a family whose days froze in 1996, while the rest of the world continued forward. Time did not heal. It only created distance from the child they could no longer see, but never stopped loving. 10 years passed. Then 20. Now nearly 3 decades have slipped away. If she were alive today, She would no longer be the little girl remembered in faded photographs. She would be an adult. Yet the world has never been able to answer the most crucial question: where did she go? There was never a confirmed suspect. Never a definitive conclusion as to whether this was an accident, abduction, or something far worse. The case remains unresolved, suspended in uncertainty. It has become a tragic reminder of how a single moment can erase a life's presence, and how society can allow a missing child to quietly fade from collective memory. Still, the file has never fully closed. Investigators continue to rely on the faint possibility that someone, somewhere, remembers something. Perhaps a passerby noticed a strange moment that did not seem important then, but might matter now. Perhaps an unexplained encounter rests in someone's memory, unspoken all these years. The details remain crucial: a girl with long hair, a straight scar on her face, and a mark near her right elbow. Marks that do not disappear easily. If she is alive, those features may still remain. If not, they still belong to the truth that remains hidden. Disappearance cases do not simply end. They linger. They linger in the hearts of families who wake every day, wondering whether their loved one might walk through the door again. They linger in the unanswered questions that echo through time. The name Sonyeonji is not merely a line in a record. It is the symbol of an unfinished story, a missing child who never came home, a life interrupted without explanation. No one truly knows what happened that afternoon. No one knows who might have crossed paths with her in those final known minutes. But the hope remains that somewhere a memory exists, and one person's recollection might finally open the way toward truth. Until then, the case remains a void, a silence that stretches across nearly 30 years, a story without closure. What happened between that playground, that vacant ground, and the scrap shop across the way? Who holds the missing piece? Time continues to move, but the question does not fade. Somewhere there is still a lingering plea for memory, for truth, for even the faintest trace that could finally lead this story out of the darkness.